Students, once again to our class of BA Part 1 English Literature, and we are continuing with Paper 1 and Section B. In our last video we studied about Toru Dutt's beautiful poem Our Casurina Tree, and in the introductory lecture we had understood about the background of the poet and the poem, and we also have covered stanza 1 and its analysis. As it is a big poem consisting of 5 stanzas, we will do each stanza separately so that the meaning is clearly understood. So as usual, let's begin the class by reading first the stanza 2 aloud. When first my casement is wide open through, at dawn my eyes delighted on it rest. Sometimes, and most in winter, on its crest a grey baboon sits statue-like, alone, watching the sunrise, while on lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play, and far and near cocillas hail the day, and to their pastures wend our sleepy cows, and in the shadow on the broad tank cast by that hoar tree so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow enmasked. So you will note that here again the poet continues to talk about the scene which she can see as soon as she opens her casement. Casement is another word for window. So when she gets up in the dawn early in the morning and opens her window wide, what does she see? Her eyes are immediately delighted to see the scene outside of nature, and many times during winter season, what she sees is that on the Casurina tree, on the topmost of its branches, on its crest, the topmost of the tree, who is sitting there? A grey baboon, a monkey-like animal baboon, sits statue-like, alone, statue-like without making any movement, as if it's not real and just a statue of a baboon is placed on the topmost of branches of the tree. So it sits very still without moving. And what else does the poet see? The baboon is watching the sun rising, while on the lower branches, branches, who is his? The baboon's puny means very small, tiny, offspring means children, jump about and play. So this is a very usual kind of a scene which we can see. Instead of a baboon, we see monkeys jumping about, the small children of the monkeys jumping about, and the bigger parent sitting. So, and far and near, cocillas hail the day. So, what else does she see? That the birds, they are also welcoming the day which is coming, and the cows to their pastures, to their meadows. They go sleepily towards their meadows, and another thing which she sees is that in the shadow on the broad tank cast by that hoar tree, so there is also a big tank, and a white colored, there is a tank, and there are water lilies which bloom on the surface of the water, and they are enmassed, means they are collected together. So when early in the morning at dawn the poet sees the whole of this view, with the baboon sitting on the top, the cuckoo bird or the quail singing and welcoming the day, the cows not yet fully awake going to the pasture for grazing, and the water lilies, white flowers which are together in huge numbers blooming on the surface of the water of the broad tank. And these water lilies are very beautiful and spread over the wide surface of the tank. So they are just as white as the snow collected on one place. So this simile in the last line of the stanza, the water lilies spring like snow en massed, is very appropriate because they are white in color and spread far and wide on the surface of the broad tank. So Toru Dutt has very beautifully compared the blooming water lilies to the snow collected in one place. And the rhyme scheme, as you can observe in this 11 line stanza again, is A, B, B, A, C, D, D, E, E, E. So again we can appreciate Toru Dutt's love for nature in these lines, and you can also analyze the stanza more clearly by understanding the details of the experience of the dawn which delighted the poet. And in this picture you can see this baboon and small children on the lower branches. So along with the scenic beauty, the poet also experienced the kokila's welcoming note and the cows guided toward the pastures. So all these elements of nature have been beautifully observed by the poet and expressed even more eloquently in these lines of the stanza 2 of our Casurina tree. So do read this stanza once again along with stanza 1, don't forget that. So if you keep reading them twice or thrice, you will become slowly familiar with words which may appear to be difficult, but as you go on to read them again and again, you will find yourself getting familiar with the words. And you must also try to look for dictionary meanings of the difficult words, because each student will have different kind of a vocabulary. So each one should have their own notebook in which you will note down the difficult words. So like in this stanza we have the word casement, which means window. Some people may not be familiar with the word dawn, that is early morning. Crest, that is topmost of the tree. And boughs, which means branches. Puny, which means tiny. Offspring, that is children. Leap, that is jump. So in this way you can understand this stanza more clearly. So in the next lecture we will talk about stanza 3. Thank you.